had a discipline problem with my finances because I would make a budget and I would sit down and I would say it's August 2023, for example. And when I sat and I wrote that down and I filled out this little cute budgeting template, I felt like I was doing something productive and I felt like that should mean that I have discipline with my finances. But then when I made the budget, I would not follow it. I would most of the time actually ignore it. And then you come back at the end of the month and then you're like, oh, wait, I was supposed to spend $200 on groceries, but I spent $400. I was supposed to save $300, but I saved $50. And then I would just make another budget. I would just continue it for the next month. So that's August. Then I would just make one for September. I would just keep repeating it. And then I would just ignore that next one too and notice how I'm only making them for that month, right? That's problem number one that I'm going to talk about because how do you fail at a plan that you create? That is the question I kept asking my own self because I'm sitting and creating a plan and I'm not following it. But I want to alert you of something today that you not following the plan is actually not the biggest issue. The biggest issue is actually where your plan is failing in a way that has holes in it that you don't actually see. So it's not the fact that you can't follow it, right? It doesn't matter if you have Mark Zuckerberg's bank account and Robert Kiyosaki's real estate portfolio. It doesn't matter. Like you're a human and you're going to make mistakes just like every single other human, rich or poor. Doesn't matter. The issue is not making mistakes. The issue is not understanding how to build a plan that bakes in room and gives a buffer for your mistakes as a human so that you can make financial progress. So you don't actually, some of the time, need to make a better system for your money, a better money system, but sometimes you do. So I'm going to talk about both of them because the reason why you don't follow your plan is probably because your system sucks. It's not because you're undisciplined. It's not because you're lazy. It's not because you don't listen. It's not because you're stubborn. It's not because you want to do what you want to do and you just want to impulsively spend. It's probably not that. It's probably not because you're lazy. It's probably because the money system you're using it sucks. That's probably what it is. It probably does not allow you to see your money projected out 6 months. It probably doesn't have a buffer for when you do make mistakes. It probably doesn't address the majority of the human mistakes you're going to make. And therefore, you're always stopping your plan because you're like literally on a plan that wasn't meant to work in the first place. So, what happened for me is I felt like I needed more discipline. And I used to always say, like, oh, like I feel like I'm so dumb because I'm making the plan. Me. I'm sitting down and I'm making the plan. And then I don't follow it. That doesn't even make sense. That actually is infuriating when you think about it. But the more infuriating part is I used to think I just needed more money. And that's partially the start of most of my businesses I've ever had. Now, the double-edged sword part to that is they did make me money. Every business I've ever had has brought me money. However, making more money is not the solution. So when I talk to people and the first thing they say is, I need to make more money. I'm like, no, you don't. Because if you're making $2,000 a month right now and you don't know how to handle $2,000, what makes you think you're going to all of a sudden know how to handle 10,000 when you have a $10,000 month? It's not going to happen. You're just going to keep losing money. You're going to keep wasting money. You're going to keep spending it wrong. And when I say wrong, I mean like in accordance to what your financial goals are, you're going to still never reach those specific goals because you're not in a system, in a money system that allows you to actually make progress. It's not going to happen. Like you genuinely think that you need to make more money to be more financially stable. If you can't handle the $2,000 you're making a month right now, what makes you think that when you make more money, you'll be able to handle it? You're just not. So for me, like For the longest time, I thought it was an age thing. I was like, okay, maybe I'm just irresponsible. Maybe I just need to know more. But then I had to realize that the budgeting templates that I'm using just don't work. They don't work. Has anybody had literally a budget and then the budget just don't work? And you keep doing it month after month after month after month, and the budget's not working. You're not saving money. You're not investing money. You still live paycheck to paycheck, which is like the easiest thing to fix, by the way. Is anybody here living paycheck to paycheck? That is the easiest thing to fix. Like, I used to live paycheck to paycheck. Now, I haven't worked a traditional 9 to 5 in almost over 2 years. So it's hard to like still think about it, but I have done it before. I used to live paycheck to paycheck. And I'm like, how am I living paycheck to paycheck and I barely have bills? You're like 20. What are you doing? You're not living paycheck to paycheck because you don't make enough money. You're living paycheck to paycheck because your money system sucks. Every time you get a paycheck, you don't really know what you're doing with your money. You think that your budget should consist of like your bills, and then you try to save some on the side, and that's pretty much it. Like, that's the extent of most people's budget, a traditional budgeting template. And it just doesn't work that way. And then when you do follow it, and it does work sometimes, that's actually the double-edged sword, because then you keep trying to make it work because it worked a little bit. See, I'm gonna go off on a little tangent right here because this is very, very important. Just because something is working a little bit doesn't mean it's the right thing to be doing. Okay? Because sometimes when you let something go, you actually create space in your life and you free up energy to do something that actually would benefit you more. So it's not always in your best interest to keep doing or keep pushing towards or keep trying something that doesn't work. Now, I'm not saying that you can't try different things. You know what? One day I want to have like a little call system. Y'all can call and like show up with me, show up and talk with me too. But right now I'm just reading the comments. But it's like, just because something is working a little bit doesn't mean there's not something that's going to work a lot more if you just would put that thing to the side for a second. And I wholeheartedly believe that. Now, we can make a whole separate video on that, but we're not going to do that today because we're supposed to be talking about budgets. But what happened for me, especially when I was living paycheck to paycheck, is that every month literally felt like I was starting over. It was like I was never making progress. I was never seeing the debt that I had go away. And then all of a sudden, I got a money system that got my debt gone. Over $10,000 of debt that I racked up, gone in 3 months. I was like, oh, that's how you get rid of debt? That's how you stop living paycheck to paycheck? That's literally like so common sense. Like, I knew it. I knew this information for a long time, but the system I was actually like, the system my money was actually in wasn't the right system. It's like, it doesn't matter what you know in your head. It matters what you're actually actively doing with your money every single time you get paid. That's the part that matters. You know, when I talk to people, they have so much great advice, and I think that's amazing. I think it is so amazing that people share their advice with me and talk, and obviously I am in finance, so I mean, that happens to be a lot of my conversations I have. However, we also have to account for the amount of people that hear stuff that they already know and then they still don't do it. It's like you have to do the things that you're hearing. You can't just hear it and know it and think about it and meditate on it and shook and jive and then not go and do it. You have to go and actually implement the system. So the system that I had was not actually failing me because I couldn't stick to it. I can stick to something. I can stick to a lot of things. Like, you give me something that I can actually do that actually produces results, I'm gonna stick to it. But the reason we don't stick to our budgets is simply, let's just blame human nature. Let's do benefit of the doubt and blame human nature. We're humans, we make mistakes, we don't know what we're doing, and that's whatever, right? Whatever. Who cares? It doesn't matter why we don't follow the rules. It doesn't matter why we don't. Sometimes it does, but I've spent a lot of time trying to figure out why. Why don't we do what we're supposed to do? Why don't we? It doesn't matter why. Let's blame human nature. That's really what it is. It's because we have emotions, because we're emotional, we make emotional decisions. We are humans, we are creatures of habit. Like let's just call it that. Who really cares deeper than that, right? But the problem was never the budget or the money that I was making. It's literally about the system my money was in. And I made a viral TikTok like maybe 2 years ago. And in that video, I was like, your wealth is money is not the wealth. You guys probably saw that video because it got a lot of views and it made me a lot of money too. But I said, money is not the wealth. Your system is your wealth. And I didn't even really truly understand what I meant by that 2 years ago. I'm actually living it now. And it's crazy. Like, if you want to stop living paycheck to paycheck, you would be so shocked. Like, first of all, if you want the budgeting template, I'll just send it to you for free. I'll show you how to do it for free. Just DM me the word rich on Instagram. Just DM me the word RICH to my Instagram. My Instagram is actually in the description of my channel, but it is just my name, KYLIA MACK underscore. I'll say that again, KYLIA MACK underscore. And you can also just rewind the video and catch that if you didn't catch it. But you can DM me the word rich and I'll just send it to you and show you how to do it. It's like it's life changing. It literally is something I am so shocked more people aren't talking about. So the reason why budgets technically don't work for me, I'm not gonna speak on anybody else, me, is because they don't handle real life. Your budget can't handle unexpected expenses. A regular budgeting template can't handle when you make side income, when you start having a different business or you have multiple businesses. It can't handle that. It can't handle when you're making $5 here, $10 there, $100 here, $200 here. Like, it gets very unorganized very, very quickly and it turns into a mess. So if you don't want to have that mess, just DM me the word rich and tell me that you're coming from this video and that you're looking for the template and I'll just send it straight to you. Very easy. I actually have sent it to so many people this far and they are absolutely obsessed with it and still use it to this day. But the problem with budgets is that your income can change. You can lose money through the month. You can make money through the month. You can have an emergency through the month. You can have it like so many things can change and pop up through the month, and regular budgets just don't know what to do with that. That was actually my biggest problem, is because I have different passive income streams as an investor. And I was like, I can't use this budget. This doesn't even make sense. Like, when I think about my budget, I am like, okay, this is my budget. But why, when I make money from the stock market, can't I figure out a way to manage that money? It doesn't make sense because it's a regular budgeting template. It's not built for that. So if you're a person that wants to actually learn how to manage your money, you cannot use a budgeting template, like a normal, regular budgeting template, because your budget assumes nothing changes. And that is actually the biggest problem, is that your budget is just seeing you as like paycheck one, paycheck two, bills. That's all it sees. And that doesn't actually make sense. It doesn't work. So then I was like, okay, is the problem actually the budget or is it me? And then I started to figure out the problem is not me. If everybody has the same human nature to always want more, do more, make mistakes, whatever, as a human, but there's still people that manage their money well, making the same amount of money that I make, then obviously I'm not the problem. It might just be the system I'm using. And I was like, oh, okay. But at that time, I was still reading books. I was still discovering books. So I was reading Millionaire Maker, which is a book. I love that book. It's a corporate structure lifestyle book. I was rereading Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. I was noticing businesses that use systems instead of regular income outgo budgets. Like, I get money in, I get money out. I get money in, I get money out, right? as like a one-way transaction. That's not how it works. Sometimes you're putting money out, putting money in. Sometimes you're putting more out than you're putting in. Sometimes you're vice versa. Sometimes you're putting nothing out, you're putting all money in. Like, it just really depends. And you have to have a system that actually is built for that. If you don't have a system that's built for everyday, regular, real life, you're going to keep asking yourself, is the problem you? And then all you're going to do is either talk mess about yourself, talk yourself down to the ground, hate on yourself, and it's just not going to work. It's just not going to work, because the actual problem is not you. The actual problem is that your system sucks. It just sucks. It literally sucks. And wealthy people do not manage their money like the way that I was managing it before. And I actually heard this from someone that I personally know that is a millionaire, has so much a real estate slash property. And they told me, they were like, that's why wealthy people are wealthy. Like, this is how I thought my way to wealth. It's because we think in long term. And I was like, the budget template I have doesn't allow me to think beyond the next 4 weeks. I was like, that's literally part of the problem. So once I started to discover Rich Dad Poor Dad and Millionaire Maker, and I discovered income statements, and balance sheets, those two things, clock it. Those two things are what changed everything for me. Income statements, balance sheets, and seeing your entire financial view from a job. You know what's crazy? Like, when you think about your job, you might hate it, you might dislike it, whatever. If you were to do a 6-month budget on your job, you probably walk into work happy, because you'd be like, dang, this job is actually allowing me to do this in the next 6 months, and I'm going to have that, I'm going to have this saved up and that stacked up. That is the purpose of having an actual fully rounded budget. So this is what I started doing. I started to actually build my own system. I stopped trying to make better budgets. And yes, I have to have notes, because I am a certified yapper that will yap about the same thing for 50 minutes. And I know y'all don't want to hear that. So I'm referring to my notes that I have transcribed. So yeah, that's what I did. I stopped trying to make better budgets. And then I actually built a money system. I stopped trying to do like the budget, because the budget is only assumes that you're making money once. In your paycheck 1, you're putting out money. Then you're making money in paycheck number 2, and you're putting out money. Like, first and 15th. That's what it is assuming. That's it. And it doesn't work. So I built a system that combined your expenses and your income and your assets and your liabilities all into one place. And you can expand it for how many ever months you want to. So you can say like, okay, I'm just fresh and new. I'm gonna start looking at it for the first 2 months. Okay, fine. Right? Eventually you'll get to 6 months and a year. And when you think about companies that get evaluated and they have $1 billion or $1 trillion valuation, where do you think that comes from? It comes from projected income, because, well, number one, most of their revenue is recurring. But when you think about a normal, regular person, the reason they're able to project that is because they can see everything. And so I was like, wow, what if I start to see all my money? Like, I haven't even seen this money yet, but I already see how much is grown in the stock market. That's where it all lies. So I will send you the exact template. Just DM me the word rich on my Instagram and tell me that you're coming from this video, so I can know that you are looking for that template specifically. And when people DM me the word rich, like, I have gotten such good feedback from this template, because it just literally makes so much sense. And I got it through reading books and through understanding finance, and also being obsessed with the fact that my budget wasn't working, because it doesn't. So what actually happened when I used it is I started to see where my money was going. That's the biggest thing. The biggest reason that you have debt is you don't know where your money's going. And when people say that, like, people say that all the time though. People are like, you don't know where your money's going. You don't know where your money's going. People say that all the time in content. But what it really means, I'm going to give it to you here. What it actually means is your biggest money leak. Where do you spend the most money that's bringing you no return on your investment? That is what they mean. So are you spending a lot of money on clothing that's bringing you no return, right? If you're spending $200 on shoes because you like shoes, I could care less. It's not my money. Do whatever you want. But if you're spending $200 on stocks, that money's still technically yours and it's growing in your favor, compounding through time. So on your budget template, it would just show negative $200. But when you actually use the template that I use, you actually see how your money grows, how your debt shrinks at the same time. You show how much money you're projected to make. And it also gives you an idea of like, do I actually need to make more money or not? And, and you know what? That's crazy. That's one of the biggest breakthroughs is like when I look at it for 6 months, I'm like, if I sat back and made no more money than I do today, no more money than I do today, I don't have to make any more money. What am I thinking? What am I obsessed with making more money for if the life that I'm living right now will get me to a great goal in 6 months? It's crazy. It actually gives you freedom of relaxation and stop working, stop hustling, stop all that to make more money because you'll be like, dang, actually, if I just follow this plan, I actually buy back so much of my time, right? People say that all the time, like business owners will say that, buy back your time, buy back your time. And what they mean by that is you need to learn how to make more money so that you can pay someone or pay something to do something for you. So for instance, when people say, business owners say 177068. Why is somebody's number being leaked right now? Somebody's number is being leaked. I don't know who that is. I think that's a scam caller. But anyways, yeah, like oh gosh. Somebody's calling me and I think it's a scam caller, but the problem is that I'm on live. Give me like 2 seconds. Hold on. I want to see if it's still recording because sometimes when I get a caller, hold on. Okay, cool. Great. But the thing about it is, yeah, when business owners say you need to buy your time back, what they're saying is you need to make more money so that you can pay for something. So for instance, okay, well, you need to make more money so that you can hire a chef or pay for meal prep or delegate cooking in some way that you don't have to do it. That way, you now have time to just eat and you don't have to worry about the time it takes to shop for groceries. You don't have to worry about the time that it takes to cut the food up, time it takes to prepare it, time it takes to think about the meals, time it takes all the things it takes to make that meal happen. You don't have to worry about it. You just have to worry about eating. Right? That's what they mean. Make more money so that you could only focus on the thing that actually matters, which is like obviously the eating part, right? And then you delegate everything else to somebody else. Now, what I want to give a kind shift to in this video is that when you look at your budget for 6 months out, you will slowly but greatly realize you don't actually need to make more money to do anything because you just bought all your time back by doing a 6-month budgeting system. You just did. You bought it back. The moment that you did the budget is the moment you bought your time back. Let me tell you how. Okay? For instance, off topic, but for instance, you say you need to learn how to play guitar. So instead of taking a month worth of lessons, you use AI and you learn a month's worth of knowledge in a week. You bought 3 weeks of time back. How? Because you were going to spend 4 weeks, right? You're going to spend a month learning anyways, But then you compressed it to learning in 1 week, and now you bought back 3 weeks. So you could literally, this is a literal example. You could spend, option number one, you could spend 30 days learning the guitar, or you can spend 7 days utilizing AI to learn the same thing that you wanted to learn, or yeah, same thing you want to learn, and then you take the other 21 days and sit on your behind. Did you not just buy your time back without money? Right? And so it doesn't have to be AI. It could be YouTube channel. It could be whatever, right? Whatever resource you have to get the thing done faster. It doesn't always have to be money. So going back to the budget, when you have your money system, you're actually going to notice that you'll reach your financial goals if you just do nothing else. You just bought your time back without needing to use money. Because if I say, hey, I want to have $5,000 additional to my current savings by the next 6 months. That's a goal of mine, right? That's what Sally's saying. When Sally looks at her 6 month budget and she allocates her money to do that, to show that in the next 6 months she's gonna have that much saved, right? So she's going through, she's using the template that you're gonna get from me when I send it to you when you DM me the word rich. Then she's going to be like, oh, wait, I don't have to get the part-time job. Oh, wait, I don't have to stress myself trying to educate myself and learning something else. Oh, wait, I don't have to try to do da 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 da. She just bought 6 months worth of trying to make more money because she just looked at her 6 month budget. And that's how you buy your time back, actually. So for me, like, I have no problem making more money. And I actually have no problem making I have no mental problem making more money because money's great, but I also have no physical problem making money. Making money is very, very easy. Making money is the easy part. Managing money is the hard part. Okay? Never forget that I told you that. Making money is the easy part. Managing money is the hard part. Making money is the easy part. It's always going to be the easiest part because all you have to do is provide value to someone else. And there's so much value that you have as a human. And I know that you can provide that to somebody else and they will pay you in exchange. However, what also changed is that investing became easier. My debt payoff literally like disappeared in front of my face. Um, and random income that I got wasn't confusing anymore at all, right? And that was kind of crazy because, when you're investing, you're most likely reinvesting those dividends you get. But let's say you are a lender, like you do P2P loans and you help people out with their financial situations and you give them a 3 year term or a 2 year term or a 5 year term, whatever, to pay you back. And they pay you with interest. So you get your principal and your interest back every single month. That's random income that you're going to have to make sure that you track. And it can't be tracked in a regular budgeting template. So honestly, like, I just figured out that the budgeting needed some missing pieces filled. That's really all it was. So this is what it did. Okay. You add a buffer every single month. You add $50, $100, $200 as a buffer. This is pre-spent money on things that you're going to just need, right? This is what's going to help you get out of credit card debt too, because people with credit card debt do 4 things differently than you. I'm only going to talk about this one here. I could literally talk about this forever. But one of the things they do is they create their own credit cards, their own line of credit. How do you do that? You have a random account that you already have, right? It might be a savings account or a checking account, high yield savings account. Doesn't matter. All that matters is that you're putting money towards it every single month, right? This is also what I was saying. Like, there's so many different type of savings that you can have. This is one of the type of savings that you can have. One of the type of savings that you can have is a credit card for yourself. And so when you have a credit card for yourself, you can always pull from it and they don't charge interest. because it's your money, right? So you need to have a buffer. Or you can have an individual buffer, right? So you can have a buffer account, but you can also say, okay, I'm adding $25 to my buffer account every single month so that your buffer account always stays replenished. Same thing for your savings. Like your savings is going to get touched. Like you may not touch it for 3 months, 4 months, but you're at some point going to touch it. That's actually the point of the savings, like to make sure that you can still stay afloat without having to dip into interest loaded payments from credit cards and etc. Right? It also helps you with flexibility, planning ahead. And also, like, I know with a good prediction when things are gonna happen. Why? Because I'm an adult. Like, I know when car insurance is due. I know when my phone is due. I know when this is due. I know when that is due. I know when taxes are due. I know when all these things are due. So you can actually put those into your budget. Now, that's actually one thing I would really say for younger people. Like, I'm 25, very young, but still for younger people, as in like fresh into the workforce, like 22 and under, really start to see like what are your monthly expenses and then start to identify them um, so that you can start to plan for them. Very, very important. Because when life happens, then you won't have to panic. So everybody says, you just need to make more money. It's not true. You actually just need to see all your finances laid out, and that is exactly what's going to bring you the more money actually, because then you're gonna be like, oh my gosh, I actually have way more money than I thought. And then you're like, dang, I actually just bought 6 months of my life back from stressing about something. I can actually spend that time doing something I want. I can spend it going outside. I can spend it on another hobby. I can spend it doing whatever I want because I already know I'm going to hit my goals whether I enjoy my hobbies or not. I'm gonna hit my goals because I just saw it on paper. It literally buys your time back. If you want to focus on a specific goal for yourself, for health, for instance, you want to hit half your body weight in ounces of water per day, because that is your ideal amount of water you should be consuming a day. Half your body weight in ounces. So whatever your body weight is in pounds, you divide it by 2 and drink that in ounces. Okay. So when it comes to that might take you some mental energy. But guess what? You just freed up 6 months of mental energy about money, which is like one of the biggest drainers, mental drainers, energetic drainers, and white noise in your head. And now you get to focus on your other goal while your debt gets lower and your assets grow and your liabilities shrink. With your liability column, I'll show you that in the video that I'm going to send you. But your liability column should literally be working its way towards zero. Right? You almost always want to keep your asset income growing and your liability column decreasing, your income column increasing, and your expenses column maintained, fixed. Okay? Now, most expenses that are not fixed are normally liabilities, but we'll talk about that in a different video. So, the point is, if you can't manage the $2,000 you have now, you literally are gonna have a hard time managing anything above it. Like I could give you instead of $200, I can give you $2,200. I can just hand you an extra 200. You would probably see nothing from it in the next month, right? He said facts. Like you'll probably not see anything from that extra $200. Why? Because the system you have is broken. It doesn't matter how much money you make. It doesn't. Don't focus on how much money you make. Now, I'm not gonna lie, learning how to make money online and in other ways, in person, whatever, they're amazing skills to have. But it's not the one skill. I have made so much money in my life that I've lost because I didn't have the right system. Now that I have the right system, all the money that I make is happy. It works for me 24/7, 365, 24/7, and they don't call off. They don't. Dollars are employees that work all day long, and I love it. Just like most folks that did the PPP, you're speaking truth right now. Because people focus so much on making more money. And if the system you had is the thing forcing you or making you feel like you need to make more money, the system is probably broken. Because the system you have with the current money you have should never make you feel like you need more money. It should be properly managed to where it's like, it'll be nice to make more money, but I should be straight if I don't, right? I should be okay if I don't make more money, right? It shows you that you're actually allowed to breathe and do whatever you want and just like live your life. But people are so obsessed with that. And the other thing with PPP is most people people do it through their business, but also trying to do it with personal. So it's bad debt that you're getting into, not debt that's amortized by someone else, which means paid off by someone else, which is good debt, right? It's just consumer debt. It's not producer debt, it's consumer debt. It's a broken system that people are not interested in fixing the right part. Your system, if part of your financial system is you need to make more money, make more money, make more money, make more money, it's fundamentally already broken. And that's the part that's literally just the truth of it. So really, the whole point of this video is stop trying harder to make more money. You actually don't need more money. Now, making more money is fun. I literally do that for a living. Like, I haven't worked in traditional 9 to 5 in over 2 years, and I don't really plan to again. Okay. However, making more money is supposed to be fun. When you attach it to like you have to do it to survive, then that's when it gets hard. You can't make more money if you're stressed about making more money whole time. If you actually just looked at your budget, you would be like, damn, I don't even need to make more money. And then it becomes fun. And then you actually free up the energy to then allow you to make more money and not have to work traditionally. People do it backwards all the time. I see it I need to make a separate video on that. I saw this guy recently, he's trying to become a millionaire. 60K in debt, has 3 kids, has a wife, living in his parents' house. None of that stuff is wrong. Like, I don't care. I don't even know the guy. Who cares? My problem with him is that he keeps trying to start more businesses. And I'm like, bro, you work a 6-figure job. Your debt could be gone before the year's over. And you're just putting more bad personal debt out in the world or like on your name, and I mean like creating more bad debt for you to pay off by trying to make more businesses and trying to do more things. It's like if you would just look at your budget and you would just have a proper system for your money, you wouldn't need to make more, and you would be like, oh my gosh, I don't have to do anything. I could close down all these businesses that are stressing me out and that aren't working. I could actually afford to move my kids and my wife out of my parents' house. I could actually, right? It gives you a grip on life, on your actual financial reality. But people are using the wrong budgeting template so they can never get a grip on reality because it was never built for that. It's not meant for that. It doesn't make sense. It actually survives real life when you do the budgeting template that I'm going to send you if you DM me the word rich on Instagram. My Instagram is somewhere in my YouTube descriptions on my channel, actually, like the main page. And then tell me you're coming from this video and I will just send it straight to you. It literally is life changing. It's insane. If you don't know why it's life changing, or you're just like people that are popping in at the end of the video, scroll through to the front and just watch this video back, because systems keep you consistent. Discipline is not going to keep you consistent. You're a human. You're going to make mistakes. Like I said before, you could have Mark Zuckerberg's bank account and Robert Kiyosaki's real estate portfolio. It's not going to matter. You're a human. People make mistakes all the time. Both of them have been sued for multi-millions of dollars and they're still millionaires. Why? Because they understand money systems. And that is the whole point. So I genuinely don't think most people have a money problem. I really don't. They have a money system problem and they try to fix it by making more money, and that was never the problem in the first place. So if you want the exact money system that I use, I will send it straight to you. Just DM me the word rich, RICH, on my Instagram. I'll send you the template plus a walkthrough. And I'll show you how to do it for yourself with examples. It's great. So I'll see you guys in the next video. I appreciate y'all so much for sticking with me with this video, and